We Are So Not Straight would like to acknowledge that the recording of this podcast takes place on the unceded traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. Welcome to We Are So Not Straight,
the podcast where two drag sisters talk about everything curvy, swervy, and crooked.
We are your hosts, Michaela
And DJ.
And we are so happy you're tuning in. Did we do it?
I think so.
It sounds all jarbled on my end, but I'm sure, last time you said we did it, and we were like dang close, so I'm going to go with if you said we did it, then I think we did it.
Okay, because it sounded good on my end.
All right, we'll take it.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Can you finish the intro? Come on.
We are so excited to be back with another episode. We have two amazing interviews, one with an amazing drag performer, Ida Kumquat, and with a LGBTQ novel writer. My brain kind of stuttered for a moment, and I think you'll really enjoy them, so we have that planned.
Yes, but before we get into that, I know that this is usually where we say we want to clarify a couple things, which are like, obviously, if you've listened to our podcast before, you know that all the basics of how we don't judge everybody based off of their drag, that drag is an art form and all art is valid, and all of that loveliness. And everything that we say on this podcast is our opinion and our opinion alone. However, we wanted to just quickly update y'all on our Season 15 Drag Race League, Fantasy League. I'm sorry, I got that totally wrong. What? Season 15 Fantasy Drag League. There we go. I got it. It came out of my mouth.
I have to put my glasses on because I'm blind to read the scores. But anyway, so yeah, last week was the first two episodes, and we did have an elimination, which I will
also, just before DJ gets into this, if you did not listen to our conversation on last week's YouTube episode of the podcast, you did not hear this. However, our group of 4 friends, our drag family and one of our other friends, is doing a Drag Race Fantasy League for Season 15, where we each picked, technically 4 individuals, but we did pick 3 that we are scoring right now, and then we have a backup, and we get to collect points based off of a system. So if you want to hear how that works, please go check out our YouTube channel and go listen to that part of the podcast. I believe it's the end part of the podcast. Go listen to it, and you'll be able to hear all of the details of how the point systems work. Okay, continue, DJ.
Okay, so how the fuck did Nathaniel lay this out? Okay. So, Team Mystic Minx is in the lead with the highest draft score on Anitra with 9. Jax comes in right under that with 5. Michaela's main pick, Marsha, came in with 7. My Queen Spice came in with 5. Princess Poppy is tied at 5. Both Lux and Sasha Colby are tied with 3. Or Mayari is an alternate. Malaysia Baby Doll Fox for our straight but gay friend Joey, he's amazing, has a score of 3. Now, Mistress Isabel Brooks was my alternate. However, spoiler warning, I'm gonna give y'all a couple of seconds. Like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Irene Dubois, who was one of my main 3, was eliminated, so I had to swap in Mistress Isabel Brooks, so she is at 0 for now, but she will be earning points for me tonight, hopefully, please. I'm a good, spiritual, prairie woman. I follow the law, I pay my taxes, and goddamn, my queen went home first. Anyway. Robin Fierce is an alternate. Selena S. Titties is also an alternate. Michaela's Queen Sugar comes in at 4. Lucy LaDuca, Joey's Queen, comes in with 2. And then Amethyst, taking it up the rear, just like me, comes in with 1.
Yep.
I'm not doing well.
So overall, who is in the lead and who is in last place?
So for the draft total, which is all queens combined, right now Nathaniel is in the lead with a score of 17. Aria Trouble, or this one over here, is next up with 14, and both Joey and I are tied with a total of 10.
All I can say is thank goodness I had Marsha on my team, because otherwise I would have been in like trouble sincerely. So thank you, Marsha. You're not listening to this, but if you are listening to this, thank you so much for actually earning some points for our team. I very much appreciate it.
Okay. What?
All right, now that we have given you all of the information on our draft scores, I say we get into the episode.
Sure.
So, let's get into it. All right, everybody. I am really excited for you guys to meet this individual. Now, I had the opportunity to work with them on a project that we did. I call it a project. It wasn't a project. It was a job, but like hard to explain. Anyways, I am really excited for you guys to hear about his book. Please, everybody, welcome Salem Styles.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, and happy Friday the 13th. Yeah, and so I'm here to talk about my book I released in October called Witch City. It's a young adult fantasy. It's also a queer romance, and it's also a sort of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it sounds like everything that I would like love to hear about. So can you tell us about like the background of like how you started getting into writing? Because obviously like we know like you released the book, but like how did you get into like really into writing?
Okay. Well, very, very long, many years in the making. I first time got into writing when I was around 9 or so old. So it's about 20 years. I seem to feel very old. But so I first created these little comics, these little kind of hand drawn little things, little silly kind of things. And I came up with the idea to turn one of them into a book. At the time, although now this person I'm not a fan of, but at the time, I was inspired by the for who shall not be named book, the Harry Potter series. And I wanted to create a fantasy world of that kind of caliber and level. So I started working on a very, very early version of the book called Alice in Monsterland. And then years have kind of gone by, and I self-published a version of it when I was 14. But then it's only been more recent years I decided to take it more seriously, I guess. The book as it is now, as Witch City, is I started with this version of the story around 2015. So that's been a bit of a time.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. You said it's called Witch City. Can you give us a little bit of like background in the story? Like what is the story? What is the story of Witch City? That's what I want
to know. Okay, so Witch City follows a girl named Alicia, who is our young writer. She lives with her mom in Boston. But while like, a few things have happened, she discovers that she's the descendant, or possibly the descendant of Tituba, who was the Bajan woman who was the first one accused during the Salem Mistress. I have the book right here. I'm just going to read the synopsis. And
I would love to hear it.
I tend to ramble and listen to that. So I'm just going to read this. Okay. Become the Holy Strega, kill the Dread Queen, destroy the Lantern Cup. October 2022, 330 years after the end of the Salem Witch Trials. Alicia, a young aspiring writer, discovers her ancestor Tishuba, the first woman accused of purpose. After an attempt to cast a spell goes wrong, Alicia tries to go to Salem for answers. Instead, a mysterious stranger takes her to a different witch city, Crone's Cross. There it is Samhain, a time of year when malevolent spirits are set free and conflict is brewing between two covens. Alicia takes the name of Aradia, the mythic daughter of Crone's Cross. She's accused of being a witch hunter and is forced to be only one. With the help of 3 teenage bad witches, Frankenstein's bride, and even the legendary witch Baba Yaga, Aradia must find a way to survive the city and find herself in the process. The true meaning of Samhain is sacrifice. Aradia may be forced to make. That's the gist of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, that just, right? I was about to say, that just, like, pulled me in immediately, and, like, I'm so excited to read it. My copy is coming. It is on its way. It will be here tomorrow. I'm very excited to read it.
Oh no, you know you're thinking.
Oh, I'm so excited. I literally was like, there's 2 things I'm gonna do. One, I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna obviously tell you how I feel. But also, when we eventually go out for coffee, like we've been talking about for who knows how long now, I will bring it so you can sign it for me because I am very excited.
No, we're happy to do so.
Right?
Always.
I'm so excited. Like, having a friend who's released a book, like, that is major. So cool. I'm obsessed. Don't mind me. Anyways.
Wait, okay, so I'm just kind of curious. Are you like a witchy like person? Because like there's a lot of like inspiration, and I am, so I'm curious, like I'm living.
Yes, I have been a practicing witch for about 15 years.
Maybe as well just pack my shit and go. No, I'm kidding.
I tend to follow a very kind of Hellenic kind of approach to witchcraft with a lot of devotions and like offerings to like the Greek gods, in particular Hecate, goddess of witchcraft, and yeah, that's a lot of where I take my inspiration from. As you will see in Witch City, the whole daughter of the moon goddess thing is a very important topic in the book, because the whole actually concept of Aradia is actually based off of this book written in 1900, 1899, but published in 1900, called Aradia, Gospel of the Witches. It was a book that was most small witch movement. Basically, in that the idea began to teach people witchcraft to defend themselves and to protect themselves and to fight against authorities establishment.
I live.
So that's kind of the inspiration to the book.
Now, obviously, you just released Witch City in October. However, do you have any other books in the working? And if so, are they possibly a sequel, or can we get a little bit of a tidbit?
Yeah, I haven't started writing it yet, but I'm coming up with a concept for book 2, which is going to be called Hecate's Country. I'm not going to spoil too much because, again, it's also very early on and things could change. But basically, we're going to see in this second book is by the end of the first book, there's something really major that happens. And there's a bit of a regime change, you could say. And so you'll see the kind of aftermath of that in the second book, and how that, if you thought the main villain in the first book was bad, the one in the second one, who is that kind of secondary antagonist in the first book, becomes the major antagonist and makes things a whole lot worse. because this character is very much a kind of religious authoritarian, and so she believes that everybody should practice witchcraft the way she does, and she gains power and control, and so basically her message to the city either convert or die. So it's becomes a little more intense. At least this is the plan for the second book.
Wow.
Okay, now I'm like, is it like available in the US?
Which city? Yeah, it should be available. It's available on Amazon.
Oh, okay, period.
Uh, yeah, it's not right now. It's only available on Amazon. Unfortunately, I am trying to get it in other like bookstores and whatnot, but that's the process I'm still working on. That is available on Amazon.com or .ca, so you can order it from the States. Most places, really.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, I definitely recommend people go and check it out. I mean, like I said, I'm getting my copy tomorrow, but I have heard from many people who have read it that it is a fantastic book and a great story for people to read, especially if you want to find something that compares to the She Who Shall Not Be Named, who has to do with Harry Potter. It's
God.
like something to replacement. That's what I'm looking for. That's the word I was looking for. If you want something kind of in that genre of story and stuff like that, I've heard it's a really good book. So I definitely would recommend everybody go check it out. Obviously, you've told us where we can find the book, but where can everybody find you? Because obviously they want to hear about your writing and all that stuff too. So where can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Salem with Writer, but I will probably be starting a TikTok soon, so we can connect to that audience and promote it more. So I know book talk is a very popular thing, so I'm hoping that by getting it there, more people know. So yeah. So right now I'm just on Instagram, but there will be more in the near future. Probably under the same handle as the same writer.
And I'm sure you will post that on your Instagram when you do decide to go on to TikTok. So yeah. Everybody go follow on Instagram. So I think that's all the time that we have today, but we just want to thank you so much for coming and talking to us on the podcast. And I can't wait to read the book, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you.
Thank you for having me, and I hope you enjoy reading the book once you get it.
All right, thank you.
So for this next segment of Let Me Introduce You, we decided that it would be fun to reach out to our Season 1 OG Call Me Mother cast and sprinkle in some new performers to the mix. So for this episode, I hope you're hungry because here is Ida Kumquat.
Yay!
Applause, applause, applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please sit down. I know a famous person is here now.
It's very that. I love that for you. I should have pushed the applause button. Darn.
Oh yeah, we have.
Do you have one?
I have
you
one.
Do?
I should have pushed it. Yeah.
Oh, wait, just pretend.
Okay,
yeah.
wait. Hold on. I'm not ready. I have to find it. Okay,
no,
I got it.
Good.
Okay.
Yep.
Ready? Here we go.
Yeah, I am.
There we go.
That was perfect.
Thank you.
Here is Ida Kumquat, everybody. Not Edna, not anything else. It's Ida.
Period.
EDA Kumquat with a K, Miss Kumshot if you're nasty.
It's true,
sweetheart sourpuss made with 10% real fruit juice, gassy lassie, citrus mistress. She's the gift. Wait, fuck. Damn it, all the hell. Let me try again. EDA Kumquat with a K, Miss Kumshot if you're nasty. Sweetheart sourpuss made with 10% real fruit juice. Gassy lassie, citrus mistress. She's the fruit that shoots and the gift that just keeps on giving.
There you go.
I say it so much. How did I get it wrong? Ugh.
Listen,
how it works,
it's not
right?
a branding challenge. It's not, we're good. We can edit it out. We can fix it in post.
I can't.
Oh, yeah.
I have to.
Don't remove the comédie.
Subtitles?
We don't need
What?
DJ.
I don't speak French.
It was just the comedy.
Comédie.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh my
Listen,
god.
I'm no like
DJ.
Giselle Lullaby. Like, we're good.
Goodness
I'm not doing
gracious.
that. I'm leaving.
Je ne parle
No, you're
pas
not.
français.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly
Emily
that.
in Paris.
Do you know what? The fashion in Emily in Paris is so good.
Right.
And that's because of Patricia Field,
Mm-hmm.
who was also the costume designer in Sex and the City.
Period.
Anyway.
All
Okay.
right. Now that we've gotten all that out of our system, we have some questions that we just want to ask you. Obviously, if this is people's first time meeting you and stuff, you already gave us an introduction. But how did you get into drag? I love that you're just eating a cake pop. I love that. Do it.
Yeah, so what you have to know is that, so I first started, well, I lived in Toronto, right, for about, so, now I don't have a mouthful of stuff. So I guess I lived in Toronto for 3 years and went to school there, and when I finished school, or just about finished, I was introduced to drag on the west end of Toronto. I saw the House of Filth, Alice in Chains, Judy Virago, Igby Lizard, and Nancy Bocock. And I saw their show just before Christmas. And that was legitimately my introduction to drag, and also drag in front of my face. That's a lie. No. I saw an episode or two of the first season of RuPaul's Drag Race. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Regardless, that's when the bug bit me. And then I befriended Alice in Chains, and I befriended Sapphire Woods. Excuse me. And then Sapphire painted me a couple of weeks later for the first time ever. And then I did my first gig ever. I'm sorry. I'm like, what the hell? She's a gassy lassie. Anyway, but I did my first gig ever in March of 2014 in Toronto as Ida Kumquat, and I was backup. I was a backup dancer with Sapphire Woods for Igby Lizard, and I didn't do drag again for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
So I know, because I'm a perpetual procrastinator and a perfectionist, and, well, I have ADHD. So I, wanted to do it all, but I had some of the things, like I went out and bought shoes, I bought some makeup, I bought brushes, but I was just, I don't know, I stalled. And it was in 2018, Irma Gerd was doing her RuPaul's Drag Race screenings here in town. And I guess Irma was potentially going away for work. And she said, if it comes to it, would you take over? And I was like, girl, I have not done drag in you know how long. But it's all good. I did my first performance as Ida Kumquat. I guess my first true performance on March 15th, 2018. Beware the Ides of March, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, and then the rest is history. Wow, that was a really long answer. God, I hated that for me. Anyway.
We love long things, or at least I do. Michaela, not so much. Okay, so I do want to ask, how did you come up with the name Ida Kumquat?
So, it really came from like a bunch of brainstorming sessions. I actually do love marketing. It was my favorite class when I was in business school before I dropped out. And at first, I had a different name that I was kind of settled on. I'm glad I didn't go with it. Because the first name, so the group The Chicks, you know how they renamed themselves? So my first name would have been what they omitted from their name, and then the last name Lips, because it meant DSLs, dick sucking lips. Because whatever, I have them, they're natural, whatever. So I
Jealous.
Anyway, thankfully moved away from it, and I guess after a bunch of brainstorming, Ida Kumquat, because I wanted something that was humorous, because like some of my favorite drag names are punny, and so I wanted something that was humorous, would have a bit of an edge to it, and I guess was punny, but also when I came up with Ida Kumquat, it sparked the most creativity. And so like it was just flowing out of me, like ways that I could, like performances I could do, or ways I could market myself. And I was like, you know what, that's probably it. Yep. And that was that.
I love it.
Plus I love a fruit. I love fruit. And I am a fruit.
There you go.
And I love the sexual innuendo.
I've never thought of like a kumquat, like I don't even know what one looks like.
Basically, so watch.
Oh, performance art. Ladies and gentlemen, my girls, gays, and nays.
I know. So basically, I got a kumquat here and an apple here.
Is it like an apricot, but like...
No, it's actually like basically like a really tiny orange. It's like oval shaped. Fun fact, I've never eaten one. But it's not the same size as an apple. Because, you know, believe it, these tattoos are the same size, but whatever, it's not to scale. But yes, no, a kumquat is like a tropical citrus fruit. And it's orange.
Oh, I
Very
love that.
I've only seen him at the grocery store one time here in Newfoundland, in Labrador. So like...
I don't think I've seen them here either.
I don't think I have either.
Wait,
Alright.
you both have? Wait, I'm so sorry, but I want to know this, and I hope.
Yeah,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
I would love her to say. Do you both have drag names?
Yes.
I want to know them.
Who wants to
Okay.
go first?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, I can go first. So mine is Aria Trouble. So if you say it fast, it sounds like "Are we in trouble?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Work.
it's two music names because I have a really good relationship with music. I mean, I teach kids music and all this stuff. So, it's aria like a symphony, and then treble like a treble clef. So,
Work. DJ.
My drag name is Lilith because I am a very spiritual person. She guards the gates of hell. She's this demon woman, and we live.
Do you know? Have you ever looked up where like Lilith is in your astrological chart?
Well, I'm an Aquarius, I know that, so...
Me too. When's your birthday?
February 17th.
Oh, work. Mine's the 31st, so 18
Period.
days. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm a Capricorn.
Do you know-
So,
Big slay. I have 5 planets in Capricorn.
do you?
I know. When was your birthday? Is it soon, or was it just past?
January 1st. It just passed. January 1st.
Shut up! Not you being the New Year's baby.
I am.
What time were you born?
5 minutes to 5 p.m. So I wasn't the New Year's baby of my year, but I've actually met the one from Canada. We actually did a babysitting course together. Funny enough.
What? Okay, but you're the New Year's baby for me. Like, I don't know who that other
I'll
person
take it.
is.
I'll
I don't
accept
know.
it. I'll take it.
Like, it should be Aria Trouble, the New Year's baby, all grown up.
Period.
See, that's
Oh my gosh,
when-
I'll do
that's
it.
when
I'll
you
do a
hit
drag
your
number.
marketing.
I'll do a drag number on my birthday, and it'll just
Yeah, that's
be
your
me
New
with like a
Year's
New Year's
Eve.
thing on my head, dressed as a baby. Period. Done.
You could
not
do
the dress
old-
as a baby.
Old Lang Syne. Is that how you say that? You can do that? Please, yeah.
There you go. See, I got it. I figured it out.
Again, subtitle.
I never said nothing. Did I speak too
It's
fast?
just
What?
DJ. It's just a song. It's just
Oh.
a song. It's just,
Oh, it's the New Year's song.
yeah.
It's spelled like AULD space LANG. I don't think there's an E at the end of that. And
I'm
then
not sure.
SYNE.
Carry the one.
Does not
Yeah.
add up.
Yeah, exactly that. Alrighty.
anyway, I derailed y'all. I'm so sorry, but I wanted to.
Not a problem. We love derailing. It's okay. Actually, we were just gonna go. So you were talking about Irma Gerd earlier, but if I'm not mistaken, you are part of the Femme Fatales. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. So the Femme Fatales, are an all non-binary drag collective, the only all non-binary drag collective in Newfoundland and Labrador. And we have been together for, so 2018, what is it now? 23, I guess 4.5 years, almost 4.5 years. And we basically started as a collective because Irma Gerd was doing these RuPaul's Drag Race screenings, and we all met there. And so, like, myself and / Garbage File, so I should say, the Femme Fatales are Irma Gerd, myself, Ida Kumquat, / Garbage File, Madam Daddy, Lizelle Hughes, Amanita95, and Witch Hazel. Amanita95 lives in Australia now. And then Witch Hazel.
That's such a good name.
Yeah, and then Witch Hazel is frequently busy with work because they work in youth care. And so they come out of their cave every once in a while to do drag with us. But of course, they are one of the OGs. Actually, they were, like, aside from Irma, like, Witch Hazel would have been doing drag the longest out of all of us. But yeah, so we all kind of came together at those screenings, and I guess we vibed, and yeah, and then we just kind of blossomed into something. Madam Daddy made their debut after we had formed the Flemmes, and I guess we kind of took interest in them, and then eventually asked if they would join, and that made us 7. And I guess we kind of decided then that we wouldn't become any more than the 7. But right now it's 5 of us who practice and do drag, like, all the time.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The future is feminine.
I love that.
Listen, I come up with a lot, okay? Like, drag flemily values.
DJ just moved his chair out. He's like, I'm out. I'm gone. I'm done.
I call the fans sloblins.
I love that.
You're like, R.I.P. I gotta go. Lilith, I'm ready to enter hell.
I'm quitting. Co-host quits mid-video, not clickbait. Okay. So now that I'm risen from my phlegmy grave, what do you want to see more of in the Newfoundland drag scene?
Well, I'm gonna talk a mouthful. I don't care.
Go for it.
Go for it.
I
love it. I love a mouthful.
Lilith, you dirty girl. No, I'm also I'm down as well. Anyway, so now I'm gonna have cake in my teeth. No, I will like don't play with me. Woo!
I'm so not flexible. I'm like, yeah, like work.
No, I used to be able to put my foot behind my head. I'm not gonna do it now, but anyway, okay. Cake in my teeth. Oh, good. The people watching,
loving it.
Deal with that. See? Yeah.
Period.
Anyway, Newfoundland and Labrador drag is actually quite diverse, believe it or not. And I guess when we first started doing drag, there were a lot less people doing drag actively. And I guess it's within like the last couple of years that it's really expanded, really grown. And I think, like, I don't know, I just welcome more people to do it. I guess I'm quite partial to like a really great entertainer. Like, I love someone who can really entertain an audience, who can really perform. But I also love the folks who are so, like, capable, like, fantastic makeup artists, like Terra Nova. So good, can paint, paint, paint. She also is so, like, she, like, taught herself how to sew. She does her own wigs. She, like, literally has taught herself all these things. And then you have the newbies. Like, there's a performer on the West Coast, Gravy, who only started doing drag queen, who only started doing drag, like, recently, but they are a student at, like, the university where they go for arts things. And, like, they have some really great ideas. They're just a little baby, but, like, excuse me, I guess I love someone with a point of view, something to say, and who can deliver, I guess, that to an audience successfully.
Yes. Some things, honey.
From what?
Sounds like
some what?
That's our drag sister.
Our drag sister.
She's coming along. She's coming up. But I was like, if that's what we're looking for, beat it, sister. Sorry.
I'm trying to get this cake out of my teeth now.
That's all
Cake pop.
good.
Starbucks, you did me dirty, girl.
Sue, call the lawyers.
I will.
Oh my goodness. All right, so that kind of leads into this question. We always like to end our interviews with this question, and because, I mean, we've already talked about it a little bit, but both DJ and I are drag performers in our respective areas, and we always like to ask, what is your advice to either someone who would like to start doing drag or someone who is maybe a baby queen and doesn't know a lot of stuff?
Probably to just try. Just start, just do, because, like, I legitimately did, like, I probably could have been doing drag for double the amount of time that I have done drag, because I had my first performance in 2014 and then didn't do it again for almost like 4 years to the day. I think it was 4 years and a week. And it's like, why? Like, you had everything at your fingertips. You were in Toronto, you know, there's so much drag happening in Toronto. It was a big city. And then it wasn't until I came back home, because I was broke and depressed. And I guess, but I know that we're all meant to do it when we're meant to do it, you know, but I would say to just do it, to lean in, to start. Don't think about it too much. But I think the most important thing is to have fun, because I don't know. I think you can tell. I think you can tell when someone's on the stage and having fun and when they're just not. And I don't know. I just wish for people to, you know, always give 110. You know, if they're capable. I know some of us have our off days, but it's just like, you know, do your thing. Don't worry about what people think. Have fun. Yeah.
So, Michaela, when are you going to start having fun with your performances?
Hey, I have fun with my performances. I always enjoy my performances. We started, specifically myself and our drag sister, Minx, because DJ hasn't quite gotten there yet. But we started in the pandemic, in the pandini, whatever.
The pandemic, yes.
The pandemic.
The pandemic Lovato.
Yeah. When it was basically there were no performances happening, so we started in digital drag era, and that was kind of where it started. I mean, I put out music videos, and Minx also put out music videos, and that was always like, that was our way of expressing ourselves through wanting to try the art of drag, but not being able to actually go out and do it. And then when I realized that it was hard specifically for my kind of like drag, because I'm a drag thing, but I'm technicalities. I'm a female who does female drag, which is the argument. It was hard. It was hard but it's hard for me to get booked places. I took matters into my own hand, and I created my own show with a theater company that I was working with, and booked a bunch of talent from Vancouver who were my good friends, who I'd become good friends with, and put on my own show so that I could have a show that I could perform in. So,
wow. And when did you do? I just got a reminder on my computer. I was like, calm down. When did you put off that show?
August 2022.
Wow.
Yeah.
But also, you had to create something for yourself so that you could perform and have an opportunity.
Well, it's one of those things, like, I feel like a lot of people would agree with in any kind of drag community, that it's a community, right? And so you kind of have to get yourself into that community in order to be booked. And I
Yeah.
had gotten myself into that community as myself, but not as Aria. I hadn't really, like, people knew I did drag, and that was kind of like what it was, but I never, like, didn't take the initiative to put myself out there as Aria, because I was scared how it was going to happen. And by the time that I was ready to do that, there wasn't like a lot of shows that were booking like performers like myself. And like, I'm sure had I like put myself out there and been like, hey, I would love to spotlight at your show or whatever like that, that they probably would have opened arms and would have let me spotlight at shows. But I didn't, and that was the problem. But I also knew that at the time, this specific theater company that I work with, Pivot Theater, who is like an inclusive, we like accept everybody theater company that my friend started, Margaret Shearman. I knew that they wanted to put on something for Pride specifically because they wanted to be able to celebrate that. And we wanted to make sure it was all ages so that everybody could celebrate with us. So that was something that was really important to us, was to make sure it was all ages, that there was no restrictions or anything. So we did it at like a Greek restaurant and just had fun. And we actually ended up getting a bunch of notice in one of the local newspapers through one of our performers who had worn an outfit that was the only outfit that was slightly revealing, and it was barely revealing. It was not revealing at all. Even like it wasn't. It was literally like her zipper was down like slightly, like that was it. But she ended up getting put on the front cover of this local newspaper here, and there were people calling and complaining about it. So we ended up being one of the top news stories for that newspaper this year because of how much controversial opinions ended up coming out. We ended up, I think there was 300 comments on the post, and 250 of them were in favor of us. So
wow, but that's great.
That's my sister.
I mean, work. Like, yes, queen. It's so strange, I guess, what's happening now in the United States. You have a lot of unsafe environments for drag performers and people who want to enjoy drag. Well, no, I think I said that a little odd, but spaces are, I guess, threatened. The safety of those spaces are being threatened. And I guess that is like pretty scary. I encountered that when I went to the west coast of Newfoundland, I guess back in October myself, Irma, Newfoundland, and a local performer who had been doing drag actually in like Asia, but I guess moved back home and hadn't done drag since they moved home. But we put off like the first ever drag show in that particular town. And when it was first announced, I guess a figure from the church was very outspoken about not wanting us there. But yeah, it's, I mean, what's wild is that we didn't know what to expect when we went out there, but like what happened to you, there was so much love. Like, I actually didn't even encounter any, like, no one had any bad energy towards any of us. Like, it was just all like, oh, we're so happy you're here, welcome, thank you so much for coming, you know, we're so happy to be able to enjoy this here for the first time. So I mean, I love that you did that, and congratulations. And do you have anything else planned for the future?
We're actually planning a show it was supposed to be in March, but we ended up having to push it because our festival show is in March. So we're pushing it to June. But we're doing another, it's going to be all ages, and it's going to be a whole thing. It was actually, I think the main thing was because it was in a town, kind of similar to what you were saying. It was in a town that didn't have, like, they don't have local drag shows. Like, that's just not what happens in the town. And it was really important to the Pivot creator that we did it in that town, because that's where Pivot was created. That was very important to her to make sure that that was what happened. And it was like the first big like drag event, and I was lucky that I had a lot of really good friends from the Vancouver community who were willing to drive out to where the show was. They all like carpooled. It was quite funny. But they were willing to drive out there and perform for these people because it was important to me and also important to them that everybody got to see the drag performances. So it was really, really cool. One of the big things that's going on here right now is there's protests around drag queen story times. That's the big one right now. There's actually one happening right over by my house, funny enough, that one of the local performers here is doing a drag queen story time, and there has been the conversation of protests happening outside of the library, outside near my house. So there are some lovely people on TikTok who I actually didn't know were from here, but funny enough. But they are these lovely gentlemen from TikTok who are doing a like love rally is what it's called, to go and combat the protesters from this thing. So it's been really cool seeing like the individuals kind of like stepping out. I mean, at our Pride Parade, we had people coming out again protesting and stuff like that, and then we had these lovely I don't even know how to explain it, but these lovely other individuals who were all for love, and they had their own signs that said like, we love everyone, like that kind of stuff, and we're standing in front of the protesters, and it was really cool to be able to see like everybody coming out and supporting. So
I actually have a drag story time next week. But there's not been like a doula peep about there being any like a protest or a backlash or anything like that. And I haven't heard of any happening here, but it is bizarre because like it's for parents, it's for kids, literally. It's for anybody really, but like they're all having a good time. If anything,
shit girl defined, by the way.
Right? Wait, what?
There's this YouTube channel called Girl Defined Ministries here in the United States. They're based out of Texas. And it's these two sisters. I'm dropping names, by the way.
Do it. Go for it.
Their names are like Bethany and like Clarissa or something. And they made a
we will call you out on this because we have watched your videos and we are not happy. Anyways,
and they made a video about why drag is sinful and why children should not be around drag. And it's like, okay, drag in a club past 12 a.m. is in a club, which is a 21 plus space already. Drag story hours is a very lovely performer reading The Little Mermaid to your child and them saying, ooh, pretty colors and fun shapes. Like, huh?
Well, and that's the argument now too, is like I was talking to another drag performer who actually had a protest outside of their all ages show, and we were talking about it, and they were like, is all drag for kids? No. But are there specific performances that are curated to be for children and be able to be appropriate for children and be able for children to come and enjoy the love that is drag? Absolutely. And all performers respect that in that case too, because that's what it's for. So if you're bringing your child to a show at a bar, first of all, they should not be allowed in. So if the bar person lets them in, bad. But anyways, if you're bringing them to a bar at like 12 o'clock at night, yeah, of course you're going to get some interesting drag performances. But if it's a brunch like ours was, where everybody is allowed to come in, we weren't serving alcohol, we weren't doing anything in those kind of sorts.
The songs were also completely
clean. Songs, I made sure every single song was clean. Yeah. I did every single thing possible to make sure that was a performance that kids could come to and enjoy. There is nothing wrong with that.
I know.
Period.
It's like, there's a local bar here. It's called Kaleidoscope. It opened in the summer, and they are all ages until 8:30 p.m. as long as the person who's underage is accompanied by an adult. And like I do drag bingo there almost every Wednesday, and there are people who want to bring their kids and do bring their kids. But there have also been, you know, shows that are all ages, like brunches and whatnot, where parents can bring their children. But also, I think through all of that, there was, I think, an 8 or 9-year-old who wanted to do drag. And so then one of the local performers like helped get them into drag. And
Period.
then, you know, there's another performer who locally, Wendy Dye. And so she's 14 now, maybe. Gosh, I can't remember. But the last time I spoke to her, I was like, you are the youngest working performer in the province. And she's able to perform and do gigs because this bar has made their space inclusive.
Absolutely.
But they also, like, I mean, they're also like a restaurant. They serve food as well. It's
Yeah.
not just a bar. But I don't know. Drag's for everyone. At the end of the day, it's art. It's art. It's entertainment. And yeah, don't censor our art. And if someone is, you know, gender diverse and they want to express themselves, then, you know, if drag helps them do that, then awesome. Because like that's basically how I explored my gender, was like through drag.
It's such an important conversation to have that I don't think a lot of people are like, not that they're not comfortable enough to speak, but I feel like that they feel like they're limited to be able to have a conversation because they don't know how people are going to react. But like, it's an open conversation. It's exactly, I mean, we're just having a conversation about something that's important to us, right? So I think everybody needs to hear it.
You're also opening up like the lines of communication so that if someone is wanting to talk about it, they can reach out to y'all.
The doors.
Absolutely.
The doors were opening.
Just like Lilith's legs.
And that's a great way to end it. So I wanted to say that we appreciate you so much for coming on to the podcast today and just want everybody to be able to find you. So where can everyone find you?
Well, thank you so much for having me. You can find me on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, well, Facebook is just there, TikTok, but it's all at EDAKUMQUAT. That's at Ida Kumquat. It is Ida, EDA, not Edna, not Edda, not Edie. It's Ida Kumquat.
Oh my god.
Like, eat it, bitch.
That's your Golden Girl.
Period.
Golden Girls character, Edie Kumquat, everybody.
Don't start. People are going to start calling me that. Don't make them. Don't let them.
That's going to be the hashtag for our Twitter release.
I'm here for it.
All right. Once again, like I said, we just want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And we hope that everything that you do in the future is happy and successful for you.
Well, thank you so much. If you are ever in Newfoundland and Labrador, or if you're ever coming, you want to be in this province, then just reach out. Please, please, please.
For sure.
Lilith and Aria, like, come through.
Michaela
Come on
doesn't
over.
Murder me first.
Well, it's okay. You can go visit Michaela, then you can come onto this side. You need to do both coasts.
Coast to coast.
And
There we
then-
go. We'll do a tour. It'll be a We Are So Not Straight tour, and we'll just tour all
See?
the way through.
Ideas, marketing. And you got it for
Period.
Mm-hmm.
free. Okay, work.
Cut the
All right.
check.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, well, I hope you enjoyed those two amazing interviews. There is so much more here on this YouTube channel, so definitely check it out when we get through our outro here. But yeah, I think that's all I have for today, so I hope you all have an amazing
Wait,
rest of your
DJ,
day. What, Michaela?
you still didn't tell everyone about our socials.
Okay, that's kind of your thing at this. Do you want to tell everyone about it then?
Sure, I can tell them. So our Instagram is We Are So Not Straight Pod. Our Twitter is Not Straight Pod. our YouTube channel, which you are on right now. So if you don't know it, which would be really weird if you didn't know it, but if you don't know it, I'll tell you it anyways. It is We Are So Not Straight podcast. And like DJ said, there is a lot of interviews on here that are so fantastic. We interviewed almost the entire cast of Call Me Brother Season 2 in Season 1 of our podcast. So go check those out. Those are fantastic interviews, as well as the interviews that we have done this season. Definitely go check them out. They are fantastic. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or suggestions for what you would like to see on our podcast, you can email us at wearesonotstraight@gmail.com. All this information will be in the description box below. All right, DJ, you can finish the outro.
Okay, as I was saying before, this is the end of the episode, so I hope you all have a fantabulous rest of your day, and definitely be sure to check out our other episodes. I love you all so much. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.